Hi there, Stampers. Today we're going to make a card using the His All That Cling stamp set. We're going to make some masculine cards, and as well it comes with the matching dies. If you buy both together, of course, you get them at 10% off. So the His All That stamp set and the All That dies purchased together gives you 10% of both. And then we're also going to use the His the Man Designer Series paper, and in this package there are going to be 10 different designs, one each of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double-sided designs. So these ones here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course you turn them over and you get this beautiful paper that you could use, and I'll show you because we're going to be using them today. There you go. As well, in the pack you will also get 2 sheets of these die cuts that you could use in your card, and we will be using those today. So let's get started playing around with this really elegant masculine set. Our card will start off with a base card in Early Espresso, of course, 8.5 by 11. Cut in 2 and then fold it in half to make the base, and then get some basic white, and this is one of the Designer Series papers from the set, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue that to the bottom of my basic white, which measures 5 inches wide by 3 3/4 across. So go ahead and glue that down like so. Let's just get some, this is our craft sheet to protect our surface. And then I always like to do a little border to separate the bottom and the top. So I just add a bit of glue where I want that border to be. This is also a really great way to use up some scraps. So here is just a very slim piece of Early Espresso, and I'm going to glue that on top to separate both the top and the bottom. And then we're going to glue this onto our base card. Next, we're going to cut out some shapes using the All That dies. We're going to be doing this one here, which cuts out a rectangle with rounded out edges, and we're going to cut them out again using the paper. 2 of them with this design and 2 of them with this design. Let's bring in our cut and emboss machine. I'm using the little baby one for this one since the dies are small enough that only need the small one. So let's get our plates together, and then I'm going to see if it'll work with the three sheets together. I don't know if that's too thick, but let's give it a go and see. Save some time by cutting out all 3 at the same time. We'll see if it actually works. And let's see, and it actually does. There you go. So you will end up with 3 of these, which we're going to need for our card. I've set everything up in the Stamparatus. Since we're using this paper and it's got a bit of a design on there, I want the image to be nice and dark, and so that you can really see it despite the design on the paper. And this is the image that I've chosen to use. It says, "To the man who does everything." So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up with Early Espresso. And I'm not going to worry too much if it's not as dark as I'd like, because I can always stamp it a second time. So applying pressure on the Stamparatus. And see how I'm not happy with that. It's not as dark as I'd like, but not a problem. That's the great thing about the Stamparatus. Just go ahead and ink it up again and stamp again over top. And it's going to stamp in the exact same spot. And I think maybe just a little bit more, one more go, and then I'm good. And I'm happy with that. So the Stamparatus is a great tool if you want to make sure that the image that you're stamping is nice and dark, as it is in this case. I am happy with how that looks. Now I want my white on top here to look a little bit aged, so it's not such a stark difference. So I just took my blending brush, tap it on the Sahara Sand ink pad, and I'm just lightly going over the sides here. And might do a little bit. Let's get some grid paper here. This one's been used lots of times, but let's use it. So just go ahead and add a little bit of aging to that white so it's not such a stark difference. And then my trusty splatter stamp, which I've owned for many years, but you will find a splatter stamp in many of the stamp sets in the catalog, one of them being the Forever Fern stamp set has a splatter stamp. And I'm just splattering a bit of that on the top so you get that look. And now I am going to go ahead and glue this to my base card. So these are the 3 pieces that will go on this card, and on these 2 here we are going to use the images from the die cut sheet that comes with the DSP. We're going to use this, the wrench and the hammer. So let's take those out, and we are going to glue these on to our pieces here. This is Cajun Craze. And we're just going to go ahead and add some glue on to the die cut pieces, and we're going to glue them onto there. And we are going to pop these up now onto here on either side with the center like that. So let me go find my Stampin' Dimensionals because I want those to be popped up. I've gone ahead and popped up the 2 panels with the hammer and the wrench on either side, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the same to the center one now. I like to do the ones on either side first because then I can balance it, making sure there's the same amount of space here and here, and then I can easily add this to the center and make sure there's it's equally spaced apart from the one on the right and the left. So that's the finished card, and of course because it's on dark cardstock you want to put a liner so that you can write on the inside. So there's one card. I have 3 others that I want to show you. This one of course uses some stamping, designer series paper, and the die cuts that come with the pattern paper. I will show you the other cards. So here's another one along the same idea, except this time I just used one full piece for the background. I didn't bother to separate the 2 like I did here with the white on top and the pattern paper on the bottom. And this again uses the same die that I used for this one, and of course these are all part of the die cut sheet. This was from the die cuts, the stars and the bow tie was from the die cut, as well as this piece. Now this step here that says number 1, I just stamped in black, and that is from the set right there. And then I did this one, which is on soft succulent base cardstock, pattern paper on all parts of the background there. And then this here is an image from the stamp set right there, which I colored using the soft succulent Stampin' Blends. And the die cut that I used to cut that out is this one here. It fits perfectly on that image. And then the greeting, I used one other set from the catalog. This one is the Celebrating You stamp set. I used the Happy Anniversary. I love this set because it has all the occasions that you'd ever need a greeting for, when you're making cards. And then the last card I made is this one. So for this one, I used Sahara Sand, Early Espresso, and Real Red. The Real Red border here was stamped using this stamp in Real Red on the Real Red cardstock, so it's a monochromatic look. And this, of course, is this stamp here, the actual die cut. Again, oops, I just threw that off to the edge here. The die cut is part of the dies. It is this one here. And I stamped it first in Early Espresso and then a second time on another piece of cardstock in Real Red, and then I cut out just the car and glued it on top. This is just our twine, linen thread rather, I just wrapped it around in loops. And then this is a rusted metallic adhesive back gems. This is the pattern paper that comes in the pack of Designer Series paper, and if you click the link to my blog on the description, you will see step-by-step instructions on how I made this card in the post called He's All That. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Here are all the cards again. Let me show you. There they all are. This used the His All That stamp set, as well as the matching All That dies and the Designer Series paper. Thank you for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed to my blog, I'd be happy if you did. The link to subscribe is on the bottom right. And if you don't yet have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada, click on my links in the description below. I'd be more than happy to help you out. If you want to join my classes, also send me a email by clicking on my blog. My email link is right there, and I can send you links to my Zoom classes. Happy stamping, everyone.